I feel like I get into game moods where I only really play games of a certain console. I don't know. I guess this time around it's for the PlayStation, so I might as well keep it rolling with the Next Tetris for the PlayStation. So yeah, Tetris. I think most people know how to play Tetris. But this is the Next Tetris, so there's a couple changes. You're given the option between playing normal Tetris and the Next Tetris, so you got the option. So the next part of the Next Tetris kind of seems to be the fact that there's little pieces of the shapes that fall off. Like if there's a 1x1 piece hanging over an empty space, it'll fall to the ground and go to the next space. If the color of that 1x1 square matches the color of a piece that it's touching, then the colors merge, which initially doesn't sound like a huge difference, but it can seriously put a damper on your game when a merged piece is covering an empty space. It just sucks. I think the most interesting way to play the game is the 2-player mode. You get to go head to head against another player, and when one person wins 3 in a row, they rank up and get to play a harder stage. I don't really like that mechanic very much though. I mean, if it was win 3 in a row, you win the game, great, sure. But if you win 3 in a row and you rank up just to keep the difficulty the same between the 2 players, that just seems like a bit much. I feel like every time someone wins 1 or 2 games, the other person sneaks in there and wins the game, and you have to start the process all over again. If it takes too long for the players to complete the stages, then they can get ranked down and play easier levels to level the playing field. It can go fairly quickly at the beginning, but it gets really intense when both players are playing at the same levels of difficulty. You know, I almost feel dumb for saying this, but why is there not an endless mode to play with the 2 players? I mean, I kind of thought that would be the main way to play against another person. Just keep getting pieces for an infinite amount of time, and when someone tops out, the other player wins? Like, you really can't win against the other player because they keep adjusting the difficulty in that regard. It's really a missed opportunity. It's still a fun mode nonetheless. Playing the normal Tetris mode is okay. I mean, it's normal Tetris, but it definitely gets boring until the gameplay starts to pick up and get a little bit faster. But it's basically play until you top out, which will always be inevitable, because it never ends. What is actually really surprising about this game is the practice mode, and first of all, they really shouldn't have named it practice mode, because it's actually more of a challenge mode. You have to clear the bottom row by setting up different situations, and you have to beat it within a certain amount of moves. So it's a challenge mode and not a practice mode. I mean, I guess it's technically practice for the next Tetris, but it still feels challenging, and most of these situations never come up in an actual game. It at least teaches you to think ahead with your moves, not play in the moment. You know, think 4th dimensionally. There's this one level that has 5 vertical slots on it, and I can't figure out how to beat it. I mean, I've tried using each piece with all the different orientations, and I can't get it. I can't pass this one in the limited amount of moves. I'd say my only gripe with the challenge practice section of the game is that there really could be more of these. I didn't count the exact amount, but I'd say 15 to 20 of these practice sessions, and that's a decent amount, but not really quite enough to keep me motivated to play for an extended period of time. And another thing that kind of bothers me, it's not a huge deal, but it's just that there's so many unutilized buttons on the controller. I mean, we got so many buttons on the PlayStation controller, and they just don't utilize any of them. I don't really know what they could have used the other buttons for, because it's only just Tetris, but they could have found something to use for them, right? Is it just me that I'm bothered by that? Okay, moving on, I guess. Sadly, even though this does technically have the Next Tetris mode on it, it still just feels like a bare-bone Tetris game and not much else to do other than Tetris, which is the point. I don't know what I was expecting, but if you like Tetris, you'll like this game. I am one game short of having my own PlayStation list, so hopefully you can see the real placement of the Next Tetris in the future. I will say, though, it's kind of towards the lower end, just not enough of a game for me to put it any higher. Yeah, I don't think games get much simpler than Tetris. Wonder what other basic video games I could play. Pac-Man? Space Invaders? Pong? Probably not. But thanks for watching anyway. Hope you enjoyed it. Next review coming soon. See you then.